Okay, I want to go back to filtering and want to make sure that I present it in a more organized fashion than what I did last time. There are several places where you can do filtering. Okay, and there is an order in filtering the transactions, okay, and then finally it's used in the visualization. And so let's look at those types of filters. So the couple of filters are applied at the data source, not in visualizations. There are two of them. Okay, so if you click data source, okay, so now we have Superstore for TYD2, and then here we have the filtering. So you can do filtering at this stage, which means the filtering will affect all the work that we do in the file. Okay, and there are two of them actually. So one is the live connection. So which means that if there is new information coming in, the new information will get updated and the filter will be applied to the new information coming in. Or you can do an extract. So if you click extract, so here if you edit, that will let you set up filters. Okay, so here is the filter area. Okay, and when you click add, you get the same options like you would do add for a live connection. So the starting point is different, but the options available are the same. So let's look at this add extract. We're not going to do any extract, because when you do an extract, then you have to save the extract as a TDE file, and then we will use, you can share that file with other people for additional work. So we'll only look at the options available for the filtering. Okay, for filtering. Okay, so add. Now you select a variable upon which you want to filter. Right. So there are two types of variables, right? In Tableau we have dimensions and then we have measures. So if you select a dimension on which to filter, say for example product name, okay, so select that. So now we are filtering against product name, and then we have these choices. Okay, so under general we have select from a list. Now it gives you the entire list here. Okay, and then you can either do exclude by selecting some which you want to exclude, or you leave that blank, then the action will be include, and then you can select the products that you want to include, and clicking none or all will check or uncheck all of the options. Okay, so we have done this previously. So and then we have custom value list, where you can use wildcards, okay, like that, and then you can select the ones that you want. So you can narrow down the scope. So if you have a large list and you want to look at all the products that start with the letter S, so now that's given, and then you can select from that, and again you have the option of include or exclude. Okay, then of course use all will be just simply use all values. So that would be the general, and then we have wildcard, and wildcard kind of is similar to this custom list. Okay, and you can set conditions for that. So you can say S. No, you don't have to do a star here. So if you say S starts with, then all products that start with S will be included, and so on. Okay, then condition, you can select a condition. Okay, so so here we have nothing here. Okay, so the condition can be like, again, this is dimension, right? So you can say product category. It can be, so how many transactions are there in the product category? Okay, so you want those categories that have X number of observations, and so on. So here order priority. Okay, you can say how many you want. Okay, so each order priority, if you have X number of items, then that will be selected. Okay, but if it is a measure, you can set conditions for measure, in which case you can select the usual computations that can be performed on numerical values, and then say, okay, sum of sales is greater than a certain number. Okay, so all products, so you are filtering on product name, so all products with sales a certain value will be selected. Okay, so condition is set to be applied to the field on which you are filtering. Okay, and top again is okay, let's put this into none. So top is, you can either select top or bottom, okay, a certain number, and this certain number can be entered as a parameter too. Okay, again here you give a field and condition. Field, so city, so how many within a city, how many observations are there? That will be the count. So you want how many by count the top 10, the one that has. Okay, so the product will be organized with how many cities have orders with that product. The largest number of the product with largest number of city at the top, and the product with least number of city at the bottom, and the top 10 or bottom 10 or whatever. You can choose this number, set this number to anything that you want. Or by formula, once again, you can set the formula here. Okay, so if it is a measure, then you can say sum of sales. So that would be the formula. So top 10 or bottom 10 product with maximum sales. Okay, or you can have sum or average. Okay, average profit percentage. Oh, we don't have profit percentage. If you set up profit percentage, you can say average profit percentage, and then the product with the maximum, the top 10 or top 20 or bottom 20 or whatever that you want to look at. Okay, so so those are the 4 options that you have to filter based on a dimension. Okay, I'm going to cancel out of this. Okay, so now let's see that we want to filter on a measure. Okay, so sales is a measure, so sales, right? So when you select a measure to filter on, then you get a different selection box. Okay, so you have 4 possibilities now: sales range, at least, at most, and special. Special will be whether to include or not include null values. So you can set range of values. It will give you the minimum and the maximum. All right. So this is individual sales. This is not sum of sales. So each record, okay, with whatever sales range that you set. Okay, so this is the smallest. Actually, prompts you with the smallest and the largest value in the data set. So it helps you in determining what you want to set up. So you can say, all right, anything over 1,000 to say 50,000, right? So that would be an example of setting a range. In that case, that filter will be applied to the database. Each record will be tested against this condition and then either selected or not selected. And at least at most the same thing, at least would be a lower level and no upper level. So it's same like range, except that one of the two sides is left out. So at least will be, okay, the left side you specify, you don't have a right side. At most will be you specify the right side and there is no left side. Okay. Now the third option would be date. So you have order date. Okay. So when you select order, when you select a date field to filter on, then so you're going to get the usual selections that we've already seen, right? We have seen so year, quarters, month, and so on. So you can say, okay, I want these 2 years, or I want quarters 1 and 2. I want to just study quarters 1 and 2 alone, or whatever. Okay, so you have all these options. Then you also have the relative date and range of dates. So let's look at range of dates first. Okay, again, range of dates. Okay, the way you set it up is like a measure. So you have relative dates range. So you have the smallest possible value in the database and the largest possible value in the database are already prompted for you. So right here, and then you can use the slider or you can type the date directly into the boxes, right? Range of dates, then starting will be the at least date and then ending is the at most date, and special is your null and null, not null. Now the relative dates is a special option that's available only for dates, and this is a useful option if you have live data. So in an extract it doesn't make sense. In live data, if new data keeps coming in to your system, you're connected to a SQL database, and then the new records are refreshed on a regular basis, then you can set up relative to today, okay, like yesterday and so on. I don't know how tomorrow will work, but okay, the last, you can specify a particular day and then you say the next 3 days or last 3 days or quarters or months or weeks. Okay. So these are the options that you have for relative date. And the relative date, again, it makes sense only for live data, not for extract. Okay. So now once you have set all that up, then that filter will be applied here. You can, if it's an extract, then when you click on any sheet, you will be prompted to save the extract. Then you can save the extract and use that from that point onwards. But I don't want to save extract, so we'll go back to live. And in live, when you add filters, again, you get exactly the same set of screens. So you select either a filter on either a dimension or a measure or a date. So those 3 things.